was that the last 15 minutes? Well, you handled it very well, Auger. Cool as a cucumber. I should have waited and cracked this into the mic. We were over in Barnesville. You remember, well, maybe it would have been before you, but Craig Samuelson. I'm not on or anything, right? He has a fridge up in their new booth, and he'll crack a couple of cold ones into the mic for Legion during the Good evening and welcome to Chauncey Martin Field from hot and muggy Pelican Rapids for a rematch of last year's playoff second round matchup between the Hawley Nuggets and the Pelican Rapids Vikings. Before we get to the starting lineups, Paul Sturdivant, former coach who passed away just this last spring. And I know that his presence is with the fellows on the sideline and the coaching staff here tonight and will be throughout this season. To the starting lineups for this season opening kickoff between the Vikings and the Nuggets. First for the visitors on the scoreboard, the Hawley Nuggets, their offensive starters. Number 3, wide receiver Charlie Steer. Number 5, running back Lincoln Mithune. Number 11, wide receiver Matthew Crompton. Number 12, quarterback Brody Hadley. Number 20, wide receiver Jackson Schneck. Number 21, running back Colton Klagus. Number 51, offensive lineman Tucker Anderson. Number 56, offensive lineman Connor Kosmatka. 58, offensive lineman Dominic Klein. 61, offensive lineman Jaden Alvarado. And number 73, offensive lineman Dawson Kratzke. The Viking offensive starters. Wide receiver Ethan Eisman. Senior halfback McLean Hovland. Number 6, junior tight end Tate Marich. Number 7, junior quarterback Grady Larson. Number 8, senior wide receiver Miguel Torres. Number 54, sophomore center Levi Hillica. 64, junior guard Maddox Vondra. 66, senior tackle Harley Jacobson. Number 72, junior guard Roscoe Stubbs. And number 78, junior tackle Edwin Escobar. I mentioned at the top that this is a rematch of last year's second-round playoff matchup that was played here on this field on October 26th between these two teams. Hawley got the better of the Vikings in that one, 30-20. These two teams actually met twice last year. Just a couple of weeks before that, they met on October 4th with the Vikings coming away with an 18-15 victory. Both teams progressed into the playoffs. The Vikings with the second seed in Section 8AA. The Nuggets stay with us throughout the whole course of the evening. But if we do cut out, know that we are dealing with a little bit of Wi-Fi issues. First home game of the season, ironing out the kinks. But again, when this is done, it will all be up on the YouTube page in its entirety. The Nuggets take the field, 1st and 10 from the 43. That is quarterback junior Brody Hadley, who is going to take the snap and give to number 24, Liam Pedersen, who will maybe get a yard before he's brought down by a host of Vikings led by number 4, Bricker Haugrud. The Vikings ended last season with a record of 8-2. Like I said, they earned the number 2 seed both in Section 8AA and in the HOL North Conference. The Nuggets were right on their heels, finishing with a record of 7-4, 3rd in the section and 3rd in the conference. These two teams are almost identical all across the board. As Hadley drops back to pass, he's looking left and throws, and that is hauled in by number 3, Charlie Steer. And he is immediately brought down after a gain of about 3. That's going to bring up 3rd down and a long 6. Yeah, these teams are so even. Last year, the Vikings finished the season the 17th ranked team in Class AA. The Nuggets, again, right on their heels, ranked 21st. We are expecting a close, hard-fought game all evening long and a good test for the Viking defense early on this 3rd and 6. Hadley back to pass across the middle. It's tipped, and it's going to go right through the hands of number 20, Jackson Shinek. Might have gotten tipped along its way to him. Regardless, it did hit him in the hands before a host of Vikings were there, and the ball popped free, which brings up 4th down. Looks like the Nuggets are going to keep their offense on the field. Aggressive move early, and they're able to do that with that nice kick return from Lincoln Methune that gave them the ability to go for it here on 4th. Hadley's going to roll it to his right, throw across his body, and that's hauled in on the sideline. The catch is made by number 1, Wyatt Jetvig. He's got more than enough for a 1st down. A really nice rollout and throw by Hadley. That's going to push the ball into Viking territory, and the Nuggets on 4th down now take over, 1st and 10 from the Vikings' own 43. Number 18, CJ Fay on the tackle and the coverage there. Hadley under center is going to give right up the middle. And a nice 1st down gain of 4. That was Liam Peterson. Yes, it's that time of year again. School starting up on Tuesday. First football game, and like every year, it is going to be hot for this first one. A sport that's going to end where there's days where there's likely snow on the field. Starts with a hot and muggy day as the give is to number 3, Charlie Steer. Flags fly as Steer takes off, and I do believe that this is going to come back. A great rush by Steer, but flags are down. My initial viewing would be a hold. And the Nugget celebration may be short-lived here. Our 2 officials. And, yeah, it's a hold that's going to bring that back. And it wasn't one of those holds that is happening in the background. That seemed to have a a very big impact on that play. And it's going to wipe off what would be the first touchdown of the game and year for the Nuggets. We'll replay second down. Now the Nuggets looking at 2nd and 14. Three wide receivers left, one right for Hadley, who drops back to pass. He looks right, now left, pump fakes, floats one out left, and a second drop of the game so far. This one by number 5, Lincoln Methune. Hadley put that ball only where Methune could haul it in, but it went through his hands. Would have been a tough catch for a minimal gain, but it is going to bring up 3rd and now very long for the Nuggets. The Vikings looking to take full advantage of that holding penalty that wiped the touchdown off the board. 2nd, 3rd down of this drive. Nuggets line up with 2 wide receivers left. Hadley from the shotgun takes the snap, and before then we see flags fly. That looks like a false start. That's going to back the Nuggets up another 5 yards. It's going to be 3rd and longer. Two potentially costly penalties for the Nuggets on this opening drive, and you expect to see a little bit more yellow being thrown on the field by the referee crew this first game. Teams are still trying to figure things out, maybe a little antsy on this first drive, but regardless, it has now pushed the Nuggets back to 3rd and 18 for Hawley. Hadley back to pass. Little screen set up, that's hauled in, but brought down after a 2-yard gain. That's Liam Peterson on the reception, but the Vikings had that snuffed out. That's number 8, Miguel Torres, who was all over that play. And now 4th and long. The Nuggets, who did go for it just a couple of plays ago on 4th down, now send out their punt team. Ball right at midfield, 4th and just too long to justify going for it. And so they send out their punt crew. That is number 33, Jordan Hoekstra, just a freshman who's back out there to handle the punting duties. He gets it off, and it will carry about 25 yards or so, right down to the Viking 24-yard line. So the Vikings do take full advantage of the Nugget holding penalty that brought the touchdown off the board, and now they will send their offense onto the field for the first time of this very young season. An offense with some experience returning, but also missing a couple of key contributors from last year. Grady Larson is back under center after having a pretty monster sophomore season. He completed 192 of 314 pass attempts. That is a 61% completion percentage. He threw for over 2,500 yards, picked up 29 touchdowns through the air, while throwing just 11 interceptions. And he's going to give on the first play of this one to number 4, Bricker Haugrud, who's going to be stuffed in the backfield. That's going to be a loss of about 4. So Grady bringing a full year of experience under center. In the rushing department, though, the Vikings are going to lose some experience with both Mark and Jack Kappinga graduating. They accounted for over 140 carries last year for the Vikings, over 800 yards between them, as Larson's first pass of the season is complete to number 5, McLean Hovland, who gets just back to the line of scrimmage. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and long for the Vikings. Also returning for the offense, Ethan Eisman, Miguel Torres, who are both out wide here on 3rd and long. Grady Larson from the shotgun takes the snap, floats in the pocket. He's going to look to run and is going to get brought down in the backfield. That pocket collapsed very quickly on Larson, and he is taken down for a 4-yard loss. That's going to bring up 4th down and long, and just like that, the Viking punt unit comes out onto the field. As I was saying, the Vikings graduated some experience on offense. 2 leading wide receivers from last year, Trayvon Benson and Channing Russman, graduated. Over 100 receptions and over 1,400 yards and almost 20 touchdowns between those two. But like I said, Miguel Torres, Ethan Eisman, McLean Hovland returning after seeing their fair share of time on the field. And that's a quality punt that takes a friendly bounce for the Vikings up to the Hawley 45. I believe that was Miguel Torres on punt duty there. So both teams get their first offensive and defensive possessions out of the way. We are still scoreless with 7:12 on the clock. And I believe that's just a water timeout. Something we'll see all across the state tonight, I'm sure. Neither team charged for a timeout, just giving them a chance to get some water. And even though school hasn't started yet, it's been a busy couple of weeks here as fall sports have been in full swing now for 3 weeks. Viking volleyball got things started with a victory last night. They will play again on Tuesday, the first day of school, at home versus Rosse. Also on the first day of school, the girls soccer team will be home down at Dave Brown Field. They take on St. John's Prep. So a busy first day of school for a lot of our Viking athletes. The boys soccer team, off to a 2-1 start, is going to play host to Minnewaska on Thursday. And also on Thursday, the cross-country team heads over to Barnesville for a meet. Also going on this first week are auditions for the school play. That is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. There were some auditions going on last week, but auditions continue this week. If you are interested at all in any of those sports or that school play, please check them out as school gets started. It's a little sweep to number 5, Lincoln Methune, who is going to have some running room that immediately closes in on him. He's able to get just 1 yard before a host of Vikings bring him down collectively. Yeah, it's an exciting time of year. As a teacher and coach myself, as the summer wears on, you're looking forward to that routine, to getting back in the classroom, to getting with your athletes and students, and getting this school year started. And here we are getting the football season started tonight. A little slip on that play, stays on his feet. That's 24. Liam Peterson, maybe gets a yard. The little slip before he got to the line of scrimmage hindered any chance he had of really turning that into much. He's fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage, and it brings up the third down of the game already for the Nuggets. They are 0 of 2 on 3rd down, and this is 3rd and relatively long, 3rd and 8. Hadley takes the shotgun snap, looks to pass. He drifts to his right, will throw. And that is complete, hauled in by number 1, Wyatt Jetfig, who got behind the Vikings secondary and made a really nice leaping catch. Hadley throwing as he was running out of bounds, gave it everything he had. And that's a big pickup for the Nuggets. About a 28-yard gain on the play. It's going to set up 1st down and 10 from the Viking 25 for the Nuggets. Hadley's got 2 men in the backfield with him and 2 spread out wide. That's number 20, Jackson Schneck in motion. The give is to number 21 right up the middle, and that is Colton Klages, who's into the end zone. No flags on the field on this one. That is the first touchdown of the season. It goes the way of the Nuggets. Klages kept his pads low and came out of that scrum clean and waltzed into the end zone, a 25-yard run to get the Nuggets on the board. As we see so many high school teams do in recent years, the Nuggets keeping their offense on the field to go for 2. Hadley under center, 2 men behind him. He'll take the snap, fakes to Klages, gives to Methune, who gets the corner and gets into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. And just like that, the Nuggets are on the board early, up 8-0. 5:39 still remaining in the first quarter. Two big chunk plays. The third down catch by Wyatt Jetvig off the throw from Brody Hadley, and then Klages with the 25-yard touchdown up the middle. Other than being just a little on the warm side, it is a beautiful evening here in Pelican Rapids. The slightest of breezes. A lot of blue sky still above. And the Vikings finding themselves in an early 8-0 deficit, looking to get something going with their second offensive possession of the game. Aiden Checo de Souza, back deep. Mark Roysum, back deep. It's going to be short. That goes into the hands of number 5, McLean Hovland, who loses it just for a second, but is able to fall back on it. And Hovland will get the Vikings started right around the 35-36. Their first offensive possession really was over before it had a chance to get started. Vikings quick to the line here. Grady Larson. He's got Miguel Torres wide right. Bricker Haugrud in the backfield with him. That's Ethan Eisman in motion. He fakes to Haugrud. Hit as he throws. That ball will land incomplete. I'd say that's a solid call by the officiating crew. His arm going forward, clearly throwing as he's hit. That's a play you see so often at the college and professional level where a referee crew will let the play run out. Then they'll go back and make sure whether or not it was incomplete or a fumble or not. But I think that was the right call there. Incomplete, and it brings up 2nd and 10. Larson moves Haugrud to his left. Takes the snap and looks to pass. He goes deep. He's got Torres along the sideline. In and out of Torres' hands. He was tiptoeing his way right down the sideline. Not sure if he would have hauled it in, if he would have been in bounds or not. It was a really nice thrown ball from Grady Larson, and would have been an amazing catch had Torres been able to haul it in. As it stands, however, it is 3rd and long. This is a team that liked to pass the ball a lot last year. Grady Larson very comfortable dropping back to throw, and we've seen that early from the Vikings as well. As Larson will look to throw again here on 3rd and long. The blitz picked up. Larson will try to run for it. Makes one man miss. He's going to have to make a couple more miss, and instead he is brought down by 3 Nuggets. Hard hit on the Viking quarterback there. He is able to pick up a solid 8 on the run, which brings up an interesting decision for head coach Eli Beachy. And he is going to leave the offense on the field. 4th and a long one, short 2 from the Viking 45-yard line. Larson in shotgun, Haugrud to his right. Takes the snap, will give to Bricker Haugrud, who's brought down in the backfield. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. That's going to be a turnover on downs. Haugrud hit almost immediately after he got the ball in his hands. Nothing he could do with it there. And the Hawley defense stands on 4th and 1. And they'll pass it back to an offense that went down the field very quickly on just 2 plays, 2 big chunk plays, just a couple of minutes ago. Still very early here, over 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Hadley's got a host of Nuggets in the backfield with him. He'll take the shotgun snap and give. That's 24. Peterson after the fake to Mithun, and Peterson's going to fall forward for a gain of about 4 on 1st down. Brings up 2nd and 6. 2nd and 6. Hadley from the shotgun is going to take the snap and look to pass. Nearly tipped in the backfield. Instead, it is complete. That is number 5, Lincoln Methune, who makes a couple of Vikings miss and will pick up a first down. That's a gain of about 12 on 2nd down. A lot of almosts on that play. Almost tipped, almost taken down for a relatively short gain. Instead, Methune turned those couple of almost into a first down reception. And this Hawley offense seems to be clicking early in Pelican Rapids. Hadley back, he's got Peterson to his left. And he will give to Peterson, running right, lowers his shoulder and is brought down after a gain of about 3 on first down. Whole host of Vikings there within those Vikings. Number 54, Levi Hillica leading the charge. Big couple of plays here for the Viking defense early. 8-0, not an insurmountable lead by any margin, but you would like to keep the Nuggets off the scoreboard here, get that ball back in your offense's hands with it just being a 1-score game. Hadley back to throw. Quick release, it's tipped, and it's into the hands of number 5, McLean Hovland. Hovland still running, crosses field, will gain about 10 yards on the return before he's knocked out of bounds. The Hadley throw tipped off of his own receiver's hands right into the waiting arms of McLean Hovland. The first turnover of the year goes the way of the Vikings, and McLean Hovland in the right place at the right time. And just as I was saying, the Vikings are tested early here. Their defense comes through in a huge way, immediately giving it back over to Grady Larson and that Viking offense, looking to pick up the first down of the game. Larson back to throw. Steps up, hits Torres. That pass is complete. First down gain of 5 yards. Second catch early here for Miguel Torres. Vikings fairly quick to the line of scrimmage. They get that play call. Don't really huddle up. They want to put the pressure on their opposing defenses. Larson sends Eisman in motion, takes the snap, fakes to Eisman, puts his head down and will rush forward, and he's going to fall forward just a half-yard shy of the first down. It brings up another 3rd down for the Vikings, this 3rd and half of a foot. The Vikings again quick to the line of scrimmage. Larson with Bricker Haugrud behind him. Takes the snap and will give to Bricker Haugrud, and Haugrud, who is stuffed on 4th and short. Last possession has enough for the first down. Picks up 2, and that is the first time moving the chains for the Viking offense. Nice pickup by Bricker Haugrud to get the first down there, and gives the Vikings a fresh set of downs. Larson's got 3 men wide right, Miguel Torres to his left. Eisman in motion. Larson takes the snap, looks to pass on first down across the middle, and that is in and out of the arms of both Hovland and number 1 Wyatt Jetvig. Nearly caught by Hovland for a first down, nearly intercepted by Jetvig. Instead, the ball falls, and it is just 2nd and 10. That ball had some zip on it. Second and 10, Larson. In the shotgun, takes the snap. And he gives to number 10, Calvin Norton, his first carry of the game and season. And Norton is stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. The Vikings, very minimal success running up the middle to start. That's going to bring up 3rd and 10. The Vikings were able to complete on 3rd and short just moments ago. Now Larson and that Viking offense faced with 3rd and long. Bricker Haugrud back in the backfield next to Larson, who takes the snap, looks to throw, steps up, and he's got Torres on the right sideline, makes the catch, and will gain an extra 3 or 4 afterward. Maybe it wasn't the prettiest ball out of Grady Larson's hand, but it was dead on accurate to Miguel Torres and good for a big first down pickup for the Vikings, moving the chains for the second time on this drive, now into Hawley territory for the first time this evening. And with that play, we are now under 10 seconds left in the first quarter, and the Vikings are content to let that clock wind down. The end of our first quarter of play from Pelican Rapids and Chauncey Martin Field. The Hawley Nuggets lead the Pelican Rapids Vikings by a score of 8-0. And we're back, just about to get the second quarter underway from Pelican Rapids with the Hawley Nuggets leading 8-0 after the first quarter of play, but the Vikings are on the move. They take over now, 1st and 10. Start the second quarter from the Nugget 40. Give is to Bricker Haugrud, who is going to immediately be hit at the line of scrimmage, but keeps his feet churning and will fall forward for a gain of 4. A lot of junior and senior experience on the offensive side of the ball for the Vikings. That's a pair of juniors in the backfield with Larson and Haugrud. Larson gives to Haugrud, and he's got a little more room to run. We'll have another gain of about 4 or maybe 5. That's going to set up 3rd down and short. Nice crowd here at Chauncey Martin Field with the bleachers mostly full in front of me on a pretty picture-perfect evening in Pelican Rapids. 3rd and short, Larson back in the shotgun, takes the snap. Quick throw right to Torres. He's got to get about 2 or 3 yards, and he is going to be right at the first down marker. And he got it. He got just enough. Side judge signals first down. Nice job by both Larson getting rid of the ball quickly to Miguel Torres, who then had time to turn upfield and get that first down. The 3rd of the possession for the Vikings, where the Nuggets moved the ball with some big chunk plays. The Vikings starting to kind of nickel and dime their way down the field. Larson, another quick throw, this time the other direction to Eisman, who's got some room to run. And Eisman is going to have a nice gain of 9 on first down. First catch of the year for Ethan Eisman, another junior on this Viking squad. This is right around where the Nuggets turned it over that got this possession going for the Vikings back in the first quarter. And now the Nugget defense tasked with stopping the Viking offense. Larson back to throw. He's got all day. He throws right, and that's incomplete. Just a little high. Looks like that was Tate Marich. His first ball coming his way. Nice time to take a shot there. 2nd and short. You're definitely in 4-down territory here, so you maybe take a shot deep on 2nd down, knowing you've still got 2 plays to pick up 2 yards and a first down here. Vikings back to the line of scrimmage. Larson still back in his shotgun where he spent most of the time so far. Give is going to go to number 1, Aiden Checo de Souza. trying to catch the corner and is unable to. Stuffed in the backfield. It's going to be a loss of about 1.5 for Checo D'Souza. Put a lot of speed on that little sweep play, but just couldn't find any room to turn it upfield. And the Vikings now faced with 4th and about 4. Fairly big play early here. Nuggets looking to keep the Vikings off the scoreboard. The Vikings desperately looking to get some points on the board and respond to that touchdown and 2-point conversion from the Nuggets. Larson back to throw. He's got 2 men out there. That was Torres and Ethan Eisman. Maybe a little miscommunication between Larson and his receivers as it kind of fell between both Torres and Eisman. Regardless, it is going to be a turnover on downs for the Vikings. And the Nuggets will take over after certainly the strongest offensive possession of the game so far for the Vikings, but one that still does not come up with any points. Hawley will take over at their own 23-yard line. Two pretty similar styles even from these two teams. A lot of shotgun pistol action. Good mix of run and pass here. Hadley looking to throw on first down, going deep, and it's hauled in. However, Charlie Steer, who caught it, was already out of bounds. That's really nice coverage. That was Ethan Eisman, who really knew exactly where the sideline was and kind of made sure Steer, if he was going to catch that ball, was already going to catch it out of bounds. Nice toss from Hadley, but it still goes down as an incompletion. It brings up 2nd and 10 for the Nuggets. 9:27 to go in the second quarter. Hadley's got 2 men in the backfield with him. Sends number 20, Jackson Shinek, in motion. He's going to give to number 24, Liam Peterson. Really nowhere to go on that right side for Peterson, who gets a yard on 2nd down. That brings up 3rd and 9. This is where we've seen Hadley scramble out of the pocket, usually to his right on some 3rd and 4th and longs so far. He's got 2 men over there again, and again he's going to drop back, look to his right and throw, and that is incomplete. He was looking to get the ball to Jackson Shinek. Little too much on it. Coverage was from number 6, Tate Marich there. And 4th and long from pretty deep inside their own territory. The Nuggets are going to send the punt team on. That's 33, Jordan Hoekstra back for his 2nd punt of the game. Sent his first one about 25 yards downfield. Looking to improve on that first one here. And it takes a friendly bounce to the Nuggets. It's touched by a Viking. And the Nuggets are going to take advantage of an early mistake here from the Vikings. Usually you'll hear anytime the ball hits the ground, any number of calls. Peter is one that is usually said that just means get away from it. We'll let them down it and we'll take over. Checo D'Souza didn't really get the message on that one. Tried to pick it up and make something happen, but with a whole host of Nuggets bearing down on him, a little muff there leads to the Vikings' first turnover of the game. Our turnovers are now 1 apiece, and the Nuggets now take over in Viking territory. First down give is to number 24, Liam Peterson, and he's going to pick up 8 on first down. Pretty big momentum change there. The Vikings going from their 2nd stop of the Hawley offense in a row to now the Nuggets driving in Viking territory, looking to add to their 8-0 lead. Hadley under center now, 2 men behind him, takes the snap. That goes to number 5, Lincoln Bethune, and he is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. That is number 65. I don't have a 65. That wasn't 65. It was 65. I don't have a 65 on my sheet here, however. So 65 with the stop. And a big third down play here. The Nuggets certainly in 2-down territory, but the Vikings would love to force them into a 4th down. The give goes immediately up the middle. That's number 24, Peterson. And Peterson has the first down. The ball comes out at the end after Peterson was down. And that's going to be a first down for the Nuggets. Nice run there. And it gives the Nuggets 1st and 10 from the Pelican Rapids 27-yard line. Hadley under center. Takes the first down snap, and he will give to number 5, Methune, who's got the corner here, and he's got room to run. And Methune has one man to make miss. He does, and he dives into the end zone for the 2nd Hawley touchdown of the game. Methune takes it 27 yards to the house. Some nice shifty moves to get his first touchdown of the season, and the Nuggets now on the board for the 2nd time, up 14-0 with the 2-point conversion pending. That ground game for the Nuggets has just been a steady force early on. Seems like for every time they get stuffed in the backfield, they have a nice chunk play as well, and that was a big chunk into the end zone there. As flags fly before the 2-point conversion. And that's going to be a false start. That's going to make this a little more difficult of a 2-point conversion try for Hawley. And if you're the Vikings, you're looking for anything positive that you can cling on to right now, and maybe a little more difficult 2-point conversion attempt that you can keep them out of the end zone with is that right now. Hadley back now on the 2-point conversion try. He's going to roll to his right and throw, and he's got a man in the end zone, and that is complete to number 5, Lincoln Methune. Methune accounting for all 8 points on that drive for the Nuggets, and with that 2-point conversion, Hawley pushes their lead to 16-0 early from Chauncey Martin Field in Pelican Rapids. Nuggets set to kick off here. For the 2nd time of this game. That's number 21, Colton Klages, who accounted for the Nugget first touchdown in this contest. Set to kick off to the Vikings. Another little squib kick. This one that is just fallen on by the Vikings. Not taking any chances after that last muff. That is 18 CJ Fay who falls on it, and the Vikings will take over from their 27-yard line. Viking offense on their last possession seemed to be moving the ball well for the first time this evening before getting stopped on 4th and 5 by the Nugget defense, now with a pretty full field in front of them from their own 27-yard line. Larson back in the shotgun is going to fake to Bricker Haugrud, escape a near sack in the backfield, but he can't escape the whole host of Nuggets who take him down. That's number 10 and 73, Dawson Kratzke and Dylan Hoekstra. who helped take down Larson. And that's going to be a loss of about 9 on first down. Brings up 2nd and long. Grady Larson now with an empty backfield. 4 men to his right, 2 to his left. The Nuggets show pressure and back off. Larson's going to drift to his left and throw, and that's complete to Eisman, who makes a man miss and now has room to run over the middle. And that's a nice catch and run by Ethan Eisman, who gets that sack back and then some, and it brings up 3rd and manageable now for the Vikings. However, there is a flag back in the Viking backfield. Little conversation by our officiating crew. And I didn't get it. Here's the indication. Looks like roughing the passer. I didn't see the tail end of that play, but I would assume that means Grady Larson took a bit of a late shot from a Nugget defender. And that's going to give the Vikings a first down, a really pretty big momentum play if the Vikings can capitalize from 2nd and long to now first down right up near midfield. The Viking offense moving once again. Larson with Haugrud behind him. Now 4 men to Larson's left. And he's going to pitch it over to Haugrud, who makes a man miss, but is still brought down for a 1-yard loss. So kind of set up a mini little screen there. Haugrud went in motion behind 3 receivers to the left for the Vikings. Got him the ball quick, but the Nuggets were all over that. 2nd and 11. Larson back in that pistol formation. He's got Haugrud behind him. Kind of a bunch set to the right. High snap. Larson is going to fake, roll to his right and throw. And what a throw, what a catch. And holding on to it is number 18, C.J. Fay. A beautifully thrown ball by Grady Larson, and C.J. Fay with a nice adjustment as the ball was in the air. Over the shoulder catch from Fay, and then he had to hold on as he was brought down by his arms. Nice job by C.J. Fay to not only initially catch that ball, but hold on to it throughout. Far and away the biggest play of the year for the Vikings. About a 40-yard gain on that play. Sets up first down from the Nugget 15. Larson with 3 men in the backfield takes the snap, fakes twice, looks to follow some of those blockers, and he will get maybe a yard on first down. And if you're the Vikings, you are really feeling the need to capitalize on the Hawley roughing the passer penalty a few plays ago and that excellent throw and catch from Larson to Fay. It's now 2nd and 10, and our first timeout of the game is going to go to the Vikings. We are at an even 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Hawley up 16-0, but the Vikings driving inside the Nugget red zone. And we are back after the Viking timeout. 2nd and 10, Larson takes the snap, looks left, throws in the end zone. He's got Ethan Eisman, incomplete. Looked like Eisman maybe had it for a half a second. As he went to the ground, was unable to complete the catch process as the ball trickled away. And what nearly was a touchdown now is 3rd and long for the Vikings. Again, certainly 2-down territory here for Pelican Rapids. Larson with 2 men on either side wide of him, takes the snap, looks to throw across the middle, and he had Miguel Torres on a little crossing route, but just overthrew the senior wide receiver. And again, certainly 4-down territory. The Vikings keeping the offense on the field. And a big play for both teams here. The Vikings can get a first down inside the Hawley 5-yard line. Larson has Bricker Haugrud to his left, Torres and Eisman to his right, takes the high snap, almost over his head, almost slips, throws it forward, and that's going to be an incomplete pass. Larson looked like he nearly avoided disaster at the start of that play and had a little room to run, but then got tangled up. I think it all started to go wrong with that high snap, and the Vikings fortunate that that was just an incomplete pass, not a fumble multiple times over. As it stands, the Nugget defense holds for the second time this game, stopping the Vikings deep in their own territory. And they will take over 1st and 10 from their own 14. That's Hadley with the man in motion. He's going to fake. I'm not sure what happened other than the ball came out. We're looking to see an indication from the officials. It does seem like Hawley was fortunate to fall on that one. I'm not sure if it was supposed to get into the hands of Liam Peterson or if he was trying to pull it out and give to somebody else. There was a lot of guys moving around Hadley in the backfield there. As it stands, Peterson did get the ball, fumbled, and then recovered right at the line of scrimmage. It is 2nd and 10. Hadley now with Peterson and Mithune in the backfield with him. Takes the 2nd and 10 snap and will give to Peterson after faking to Mithune, and Peterson in the process of trying to make a move goes to a knee in the backfield. It's going to be a 2-yard loss and 3rd and long now. The Vikings defense would love nothing more than to get their offense right back on the field, giving them another chance to score. And kind of a dangerous spot for the Nuggets here. 3rd and long from deep within your own territory. Hadley back in shotgun, takes the snap, looks left, now throws, and that's going to be a little too high, a little too outside. Intended for Lincoln Mithune. So the Viking defense does in fact do their job. And now 4th and long, the Nuggets will send Jordan Hoekstra back onto the field for his 3rd punt of the game, this time with his heels very near his own end zone. 2:41 to go in the first half. The Nuggets did get the ball to start the game, and I'm sure Coach Beachy would love nothing more than to get the ball here and have his offense go down and score before halftime, before getting the ball to start the second half. That is Ethan Eisman and Aiden Checo D'Souza back deep. The punt, little wobbly, that only goes about 16, 17 yards before it dips out of bounds at the 32, 33-yard line. The Vikings will have excellent field position. Clock should not be a factor at all on this drive. 2:36 on the clock. The Vikings still have 2 timeouts. And an offense that has shown they can move the ball, but not punch it in. And this Hawley defense has proven that they can bend thus far without breaking. Out with the Hawley ball, in with the Vikings football. And we are now set to go for the Vikings. 1st and 10 from the Hawley 32-yard line. Larson with Haugrud in the backfield. takes the snap and looks to pass. He's got Torres to the right. He was looking there the whole time, and that's going to be intercepted. And we'll see if they mark him out at the 1 or if his momentum took him into the end zone, and they're going to mark him out right at the 1-yard line. A great catch by number 9, Hayden Andring. Larson was looking at Torres the whole time, just a little overthrown, and Andring hauls in the interception. And the official marked him out of bounds right at the 1.5-yard line. A big play, but immediately putting a little pressure on the Nugget offense now to just move the ball forward here. Any progress play is good for the Hawley offense with their backs against their own goal line. It's immediately a give to Peterson, and he'll fall forward for a little bit of breathing room. He'll get up to about the 4-yard line, gain of 2 on first down, brings up 2nd and 8. The Vikings, who had the initial first turnover of the game, now have committed 2 themselves in this first half. Second and 8, Hadley under center. He's got Methune in the backfield behind him. And he'll take the snap and give to Methune, who's running right, and he's able to get the corner. And he's got room to run on the right side. Methune across the 40, making men miss. He's cut back to the left, and Methune's got a lot of green in front of him. No flags behind him. And it's just C.J. Fay with a touchdown-saving tackle. Methune ran well over 100 yards on that play, probably close to 150, 160 yards on that play. And he needed just a little bit more gas to get it into the end zone. C.J. Fay with a really nice hustle play to keep Methune out of the end zone. And if by some chance the Vikings are able to keep Hawley from scoring here, we can look back at that play from C.J. Fay as a big one. The clock runs under 1:30 now. Hadley, after certainly the biggest play of the game by either team, takes the snap and gives to number 14, that's Lane Lem. And he is hit right around the goal line and is going to be brought down inches shy of the end zone. First carry for Lem on the day, and he nearly punched it in for a touchdown. We are now under 1 minute to go in the first half. And kind of a nightmare 2 minutes for the Vikings to finish this half. They had the ball in pretty prime position to possibly go get their first points of the game, and now the Nuggets looking to add to their already growing lead. Hadley takes and gives, and up the middle for the touchdown is, I think, 24 Peterson. Yeah, number 24 Peterson with his first touchdown of the season. The Nuggets have been very democratic in their rushing touchdowns so far, as both Methune, Shinek, and now Peterson have scored. As it stands, the Nuggets are up 22-0, 2-point conversion pending. Hadley from his own from the Viking 2-yard line takes the snap, looks to pass, an immediate pressure. He gets away from and throws, and that's complete. That was number 78, Edwin Escobar, who had Hadley dead to rights, but Hadley was able to wiggle out of that and get the throw to Jetfig for the 2-point conversion, and it has been all Hawley Nuggets in the first half from Pelican Rapids. Just 35 seconds to go in the first half. The Nuggets for the third time. The first two have been little squib kicks, and I got to imagine they're going to do a very similar kick here again. That's 21 Colton Klages. Vikings kind of inching a little bit closer than the first two kickoffs, maybe anticipating that. Klages does do a bit of a line drive that's picked up by number 10, Calvin Norton, in the air. A line drive catch, and that 10-yard return from Norton up to the Viking 45 might be enough to give the Vikings a little opportunity to move the ball. There's not much time on the clock, but the Vikings do have 2 timeouts, 31 seconds to go. If they would have been pinned there, I could have seen Larson maybe just taking a knee and getting this thing to halftime, but it looks like Coach Beachy and the Viking offense is going to be aggressive, trying to get anything going before halftime. Larson with 5 wide men, 2 to his left, 3 to his right, takes the snap, looking right, looking left, lots of room to run in front of him. He's going to take some of that room and is brought down just shy of the first down, and that's going to lead to an immediate timeout from Coach Beachy with 22 seconds to go. Well covered there from the Nuggets secondary, and Larson had a lot of running room, and that immediately kind of collapsed on him there. So now 22 seconds to go in the first half. 1 timeout for the Vikings. The clock would stop with any first down as well, so there's a couple of different ways the Vikings can stop the clock if they need to. And really they just need someone to make a play, get some points on the board here before halftime. And the Nuggets are certainly going to be in a little bit more of a prevent defense, knowing that they can give up some decent chunk plays as long as nothing gets behind them. Jack Welch Sr. into the game, bringing some height out there, maybe just looking for a potential jump ball downfield for the listed here as 6'9". He is all a bit of 6'9". And a nice throw and catch, and out of bounds from Larson to Aiden Checo D'Souza. That will stop the clock. That play only took 4 seconds off the clock. The Vikings are able to get a first down. Really nice route by Checo D'Souza, and nice ball from Grady Larson. Vikings maintain that timeout. Can spray the ball all over the field here and still stop the clock. Larson takes the low snap under a little pressure. Got Welch over the middle, and he is hit hard on that throw. It was nearly caught by him and then nearly caught by Ethan Eisman. And those are those routes that are always a little scary for a wide receiver, going over the middle where you know there is a hit coming, and Welch took a hit as soon as the ball touched his hands. Again, well defended by the Nuggets secondary. Had it have been caught, it would have set the Vikings up with 1st and goal. As it stands with 12 seconds left on the clock, it is 2nd and 10 from Hawley's 36-yard line. Larson takes the high snap, rolls right, throws over the middle. That's incomplete to Miguel Torres, who maybe had a little bit of room to run and was possibly thinking about what he was going to do with the catch after he made the catch. And boy, Grady Larson can throw a fastball. That had some juice on it. Larson with a little pre-snap communication with Torres on the right side there. Now 3rd and long. The Vikings have likely 2 more plays to try to punch it into the end zone before halftime. Grady takes the snap, looking right. A lot of pressure from the Nuggets. And Larson, fortunate to just throw that ball away, is going to bring up 4th and long. 3 seconds left, barring a penalty. This will be the last play of the first half. And with a timeout to spare, Coach Beachy will use that 3rd and final timeout of the first half. Talk to his offense and likely try to draw up some type of either Hail Mary play or maybe a little hook and ladder type play, something that ends up in the end zone. really has been all Hawley in the first half. 3 rushing touchdowns from Methune, Shinek, and Peterson. And 3 successful 2-point conversion tries has Hawley up 24-0 with just 3.4 seconds before halftime. Four men wide left. Torres, the lone man, to the right as Larson takes the shotgun snap, and he's looking Torres' way. Now he's going to throw back across his body towards the end zone, and it would have been right at the goal line. Both Eisman and Jack Welch had a shot at it, and it seemed like it tipped off both of their hands before falling incomplete. Would have been a pretty exciting way to end the first half. As it stands, however, Hawley has to be feeling amazing as they gather in the south end zone here at Chauncey Martin Field, up 24-0. We will be back after the 12-minute halftime. back on. I can do it. And we are back at Chauncey Martin Field in Pelican Rapids. A little more overcast skies have come in as the sun is just about completely disappeared. And the Hawley Nuggets have come on to this field for the second time in a year and are looking to repeat what they did last fall in the second round of the 2024 playoffs. They currently lead 24-0. It was all Nuggets in the first half on the scoreboard. That said, on the field, it really was a much more evenly played game. A couple of key turnovers, a couple of key penalties in there are really the only story of the game. The Nuggets have taken advantage of those Viking mistakes, and when the Vikings have been given some opportunities, they have not been able to punch in. The Vikings will start the second half with the ball, and not to put too much pressure on one single possession, but it's a pretty big possession, more so for the Vikings than the Nuggets here. Pelican Rapids pretty desperate to go put their first points of the season on the board. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that with school starting up this next week, we are almost back in the full swing of things, and there's a lot of action around town for your Viking fall athletes. The volleyball team is home on Tuesday against Rothsay. That is the first day of school, and they have a home game, and also home on Tuesday is the girls' soccer team taking on St. John's Prep. Boys soccer's next game will be a week from yesterday, next Thursday, home versus Minnewaska. A lot of home action there. Cross-country team on Thursday will be over at Barnesville. And I mentioned that there are additions this week for the fall play, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Lots going on, lots to be involved in. One of the joys of being in a small school in Minnesota, you get to be a part of so many different things, and a lot of athletes also taking part in those more musical acting things. Yeah, you love to see all of that, and I know Coach Beachy would love nothing more than to see his offense put some points on the board in this first possession of the second half. And that is going to trickle out of bounds, and looked like it almost might have been touched by Calvin Norton on the return there, but he did not put a finger on it, and so as it trickles out of bounds at the 20, the penalty flag flies, and the Vikings are going to start with pretty solid field position. I believe they're moving that ball up to the 40, but maybe they are saying that that ball did touch the hand of Calvin Norton and are going to pick that flag up, and I think that's actually what's happening here. Okay, never mind. I take that all back. Both the Vikings and the Nuggets looked like they were ready to line up back at around the 24, but yeah, that ball went out of bounds. It was untouched. And so that's going to be to the Viking benefit. And then move it up to the 35, which is about where the Vikings have been starting anyway. The lights fully on now in Pelican Rapids. And with those Friday night lights shining down on the Viking offense, Grady Larson looking to lead them down the field for their first points of this game. He pump fakes and throws deep on the first play of the second half, and it is going to be incomplete. Incomplete. He was looking for Ethan Eisman over on the hand side of the field, and I believe he hauled it in. Pretty amazing catch from Eisman, but his first step was out of bounds. That would have been a nice near 30-yard completion to start the half, and it's kind of been the story of the game for the Vikings. A lot of nearlies, a lot of almosts, and with it incompletion now, 2nd and 10. Larson takes the snap and will give to Bricker Haugrud, who gets a couple blocks up the middle, and Bricker Haugrud with his best run of the night breaks a tackle after the first down, and he's got a gain of 16 yards. Far and away, Bricker Haugrud's longest run of the night. He had a nice hole to run through and then did his part, making some men miss. And he will come off for a play here as number 10, Calvin Norton, hops into the backfield for the Vikings. That run moves the ball across midfield into Hawley territory, and Grady Larson now with Norton in the backfield has 3 wide receivers to his right, Del Torres to his left. He fakes to Norton. Nice catch by Eisman on the little bubble screen there, but with that nice catch came a lot of time for the Nuggets to get in the backfield, and Eisman brought down for a 2-yard loss. Again, the scoreboard not really reflecting how evenly both of these teams have played on the field. It's just that Hawley has been very astute at capitalizing on their long drives, whereas the Vikings have come up short. And here Larson nearly misplays the snap, is able to get rid of it. Pidley misplays the snap, is able to get rid of it. Pitches it to Calvin Norton, who's fortunate enough to get back to the line of scrimmage. It will still bring up 3rd and long for the Vikings. The Vikings in a passing down here, and with the score being what it is, unless they take a big loss on this play, gotta imagine it's going to be 2-down territory, so they don't need all of the 12 here. Haugrud back in the backfield now. Larson takes the snap, looks to throw left and does, and that is going to be caught by Ethan Eisman. He is right at the 1st down marker. And I think they're going to say he's just a half a yard shy. Very close to that 1st down marker. It was a heck of a catch by Ethan Eisman to come down with Larson. And he's going to be just a half a yard shy. So 4th down and a foot for the Vikings. Wouldn't be a bad spot to just do a little tush push like you hear in the NFL all the time. But Larson is actually back in the shotgun. A lot of Nuggets in the box. He takes the snap, gives to Bricker Haugrud, and a very nice run by Bricker Haugrud to get that 1st down. There was 2-3 Hawley and defensive linemen in the backfield, and Haugrud quick juke to his left and dove forward for the 1st down. Nice running from Bricker Haugrud, and the Vikings to 4th and short to now 1st down. 2nd 1st down pickup of this drive for the Vikings. Larson quick to the line, takes the snap, looks to throw to the right, and he will loft it up. I know, an amazing catch from Ethan Eisman. One-handed over-the-shoulder grab is good for a 1st down. That's a gain of 18 to Eisman on that play. I had all but given up that was going to be caught, and Ethan Eisman with a very athletic catch on the sideline for another 1st down, and whistles are going to blow here as there is a Hawley defender who is down. So quick injury timeout. That looks like number 1 Wyatt Jetvig, who's been on the field a lot, both offensive side of the ball and defensive. He'll get a little attention there from the trainer. Looks like it might be just a cramp. Of the game here. Not too uncommon to see some cramping on a hot 1st game of the season. We're still in the mid-70s in Pelican Rapids. Now that the sun is down, it should start to cool off a little bit more. And we pick it back up. It's 1st down after that nice catch. And we pick it back up. It's 1st down after that nice catch by Ethan Eisman on the right sideline. Grady Larson back in the shotgun formation with Bricker Haugrud to his right. Larson takes the snap, rolls out to the right, and he's going to run with it, tucks it down, lowers his shoulder, and is going to have a 1st down gain of about 5. That is the thing with Grady Larson. He, if you're going in to tackle him, he's going to lower his shoulder. Not one of the quarterbacks to ever try to just skirt out of bounds or go into a slide. Second up the middle. Haugerud's going to fall forward for a gain of 1 or 2. As has been the case for pretty much this whole drive, the Vikings are in 4-down territory. They'll need to get inside the Hawley 12-yard line to get the first down here. Larson has Bricker Haugerud to his left. Takes the third down, low snap, and untouched into the backfield is number 21, Colton Klages. Grady Larson blindsided. It was already a low snap. Larson just getting into his third step of his drop back when he's drilled by Klages. A huge third down play brings up 4th and 10. Jack Welch back onto the field for the Vikings, as well as Aiden Checo de Souza. The Vikings in desperate need of a first down. Larson with 3 men to his left takes the snap. Across the middle, he throws. It's complete to Miguel Torres. And he is going to be right around the first down marker. Too close to call right now, and they are going to say he is in fact short. Short of the first down. The ball will go back to the Nuggets. It was a nice throw and catch by Torres, who turned, picked up a couple yards after the catch, but came up just a yard shy. He needed the 12. He got the 13. And another Viking drive comes up short inside the Hawley red zone. That possession, a pretty good summary of how it brings up 2nd and 9. The Nugget red zone, or near the Nugget red zone, 3 times in this game and have come up short every time, and now they get the ball starting in Hawley territory. First and 10 from the 45. Eisman in motion, and flags fly pre-snap. Looks like it's going to be a false start against the Vikings. I didn't see who it was that moved early, but multiple flags flew. Multiple officials saw the movement from the Vikings. And it'll back him up 5 yards right at midfield. And the Viking head, Chauncey Martin Field, looking pretty picture perfect under the Friday night lights, as Larson now first and long with Bricker Haugerud to his left. Takes the snap. Will throw to his left. It is caught by 18 C.J. Fay, and he gets back the penalty yardage there. Most of it anyway. It's going to bring up 2nd and 11. Clock now under 5.5 to go in the third quarter. It's been running most of the way here. Larson sends Eisman in motion. Takes the high snap. And he throws and completes to Eisman, who goes down. Coach Beachy calling for a late hit there, but no such doing from the official right in front of the play. And there is a Hawley Nugget who is down. I think that with an empty backfield takes the low snap, will scroll out to his left. With an empty backfield takes the low snap, will scroll out to his left, throws, tipped, and intercepted. The tip drill there by that's the 3rd turnover of the game for the Vikings. And it gives the ball back over to the Nuggets again in Hawley territory. Trying to get off the field before the nothing really is incoming in the area. If that was heading our way, I could what little lightning that is. It might even just be some heat lightning on this hot evening. is supposed to stay well off into the distance, and we will play on here. Definitely taking advantage of some very big chunk plays in this game. Right at the Viking 30. Hand it off to Methune, who's brought down right at the line of scrimmage by a host of Vikings led by number 5, McLean Hovland. And we're getting to that point where it's kind of go time. The Vikings really can't allow any other points from the Nuggets, and have got to put a number up on the board here soon. They want to put some pressure on Hawley as we head into the final 4 minutes of the third quarter of this one. Hadley takes the snap and looks to throw on second and long. Little pressure he steps up into and goes deep. Takes the snap and looks to throw on second and long. Little pressure he steps up into and goes deep. Single coverage, and it is going to be in and out of the hands of number 20. Single coverage, and it is going to be in and out of the hands of number 20, Jackson Shinek. Really nice coverage from number, I think that's number 18 over there. CJ Fett is number 18 over it. Very nice coverage, knocking the ball loose in the end zone from Fay. Brings up third and long. And the Vikings now looking to do a little bit of what the Hawley defense has done. As I mentioned before, that's bend but not break. They've definitely bent this possession, but if they can withstand another couple of plays and get the ball back in their offense's hands, as that one's nearly fumbled and instead brought down for a loss of about 5 on that play. Just kind of a broken play all from the get-go as Boone is brought down, and it's going to bring up 4th and about 15. The Nuggets are so deep into Pelican territory, and their defense has done such a good job tonight that there really is no hesitation from head coach Peter Natz of leaving the offense out there. And if you're the Vikings, you're just got to get the ball back in the hands of your offense. You can allow 14 yards here, but not 15 as Hadley drops back to throw. He's going deep, and might have been the wrong decision. Effectively, that's a punt from the Nuggets on 4th down. There's so many things that have got to be going through your head, and as a defensive back, how do you not catch the ball when it's falling into your hands? But with that interception, the Vikings will effectively start this. Possession about 15, 20 yards deeper than had it just fallen incomplete. As it stands, though, intercepted by CJ Fay, who had 2 really nice covers, and the Viking offense does take over. Viking defense has done their job to start the second half. They have forced stops against on the field. He takes the snap. Here, our camera crew is currently want to make sure that gear can weather the storm, no pun intended. So if you see any feed cutting out here, I'll try to keep the action. I see we've lost the camera for now. Larson, it's a high snap over his head. He recovers. He picks it up off the turf. He's running to his left, and Larson will get back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. That's going to bring up 3rd down and long. Grady Larson has kind of had his hands full in this increasingly more slick. Harder now. Little drop in temperature. Multiple whistles going on the field as we're trying to get back. And we are going to go into a bit of a lightning delay here. And if that is in fact the case, so if this does go into a delay here, I'm being told that's going to be what's happening with this lightning off in the distance. We will drop the stream here, and I do not believe that stream will come back. So we're 30 minutes from the most recent lightning strike, and that clock is going to have to get reset here. So this is going to be the end of our broadcast as we're trying to get our equipment back inside, and as the rain comes down and lightning in the distance goes off. Where we're going to leave you, and hopefully they will pick it back up within half hour to an hour's time, is the score of Hawley 24, Pelican Rapids 0. There is a minute 35 left in the third quarter with the Vikings driving 3rd and 10 from their 28-yard line. This has been Andy Johnson with Carrie Haugrud and our student-led video production crew of Aiden Rotz and Jaden Peterson. Thank you for listening. The rest of this one, you'll have to